Welcome to the Fort Johnson podcast. Today, we're diving into an incredibly important topic for our community, especially as we head into hurricane season: severe weather safety. Whether you're a longtime resident or new to the area, understanding how to prepare for and respond to severe weather is crucial for protecting yourself, your family, and your property. We'll be discussing essential tips and strategies from creating a hurricane kit to developing an evacuation plan and everything in between. Joining us today are experts from the Warrior Operations Centers who will share their insights and answer your most pressing questions. So stay tuned, because the information in this episode could make all the difference when hurricane strikes. Let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are watching this podcast, I am Jeff England from the Fort Johnson Public Affairs Office, and you are watching the Fort Johnson podcast in the studio here at the podcast studio, professional place. You know, it's all professional. Today, we've got some great guests with me from the Warrior Operations Center. I've got Mark Leslie. How are you doing, Mark?
Good morning, Jeff. Great to be here.
It's great to hear you, if I can hear you. Pull that mic closer if you can. I don't know. There you go.
All right.
Stop being so comfortable. And Dusty over there to his left. How you doing, Dusty?
Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whenever you're watching.
Yeah, that's my line. Hey,
I grabbed it from you. I am a robber.
And to my right, I have Tommy Morris. How are you doing, Tommy?
I'm doing well today, Jeff.
It's great to have you guys in here. I'm really glad that you all made it. I know you guys are busy, and you got meetings. You go from one meeting to another, and of course, you've got all the preparation for severe weather coming up, don't you?
Yep.
We've had some severe weather already, and it's recently rained like somebody just poured a bucket of water on us. But we got the lightning and stuff. So when it comes down to the severe weather, it's not just hurricanes, but we've also got severe thunderstorms and tornadoes and high winds. And last year fires, and it's like, oh. God. So what exactly are you doing to prepare, or what does Fort Johnson have going on to prepare for severe weather?
Yeah, so this year is going to be a pretty epic season. But before we get to that, I just want to talk about how we prepare for severe weather here at Fort Johnson. So, our plan is it's not like Operation Orange, for the invasion of Canada. Is not top secret. So we prepare for severe weather here at Fort Johnson, just like any other combat operation the Army does. We plan for this all year round, and we end up briefing the senior commander and all the MSC commanders here on the installation. We brief the commanding general, Major General Gardner, on 2 May. We unveiled that. And briefed him. It's about an hour-long brief, but we involve all the staff on the installation, every entity, every agency, every directorate. Everybody has a piece in it. It's the installation plan. We prepare for it just like any other operation, right? It's probably one of the most important things we do every year to protect this community and protect the mission, to make sure this installation and the Army are prepared to do what we're supposed to do, right? So we take that very seriously, and it's not just the 3 people sitting at this table. It's really every agency on this installation take part in this, and they consider one of our primary missions to make sure this community is safe.
Now, we get a lot of severe weather around here, and it ranges, but we're not the only installation that gets severe weather and bad weather and stuff, and I'm sure other installations have their plans and plans of their own. How do we compare to all the other installations?
Hey, I'll tell you, I'm not a braggart, but I would say we're probably the most prepared installation in the world. I mean, we prepare for hurricanes, but we prepare for tornadoes, we prepare for flooding, we prepare for everything. And the one thing we didn't prepare for was wildfires. But we had that last year, and now we're prepared for wildfires. And so Dusty and Tommy love it when I think of something, and I walk in everyone about once a week, and I draw on the whiteboard, and I think of a disaster, and I say, hey, let's make a plan for this. And 9 times out of 10, that comes true. And so they don't want me to do that.
Yeah, please just don't do anything for the earthquakes. We don't need those. I only know one house around here that is built earthquake strong.
Yeah, we don't need that.
No, we don't. So the severe weather plan, if this is something that is planned out and written down, and where would we be able to find the? I know you said it's not super secret top squirrel stuff, but so you publish it. Where was the easiest place to find it?
You go to the Fort Johnson website and you go to the Fort Johnson weather. You click that tab and you'll see everything we briefed the Fort Johnson commander on, minus some stuff that is
not important.
Operational security, right?
Oh, yeah.
Unit size and stuff like that, some assets. But you'll see everything we briefed Fort Johnson commander on and how we prepare this installation. Is available on the Fort Johnson website under the Fort Johnson weather tab. You'll see that plan.
Yeah, I figured Dusty would know all the seasons around here. Normal places have 4 seasons. Our seasons is what cold, pollen, leaves, and mud bug season and love bug season.
Love bug, mud bug, love bug, hot. Love bug again, and then hot, followed some more, followed by pollen season.
Yeah, pollen season. Yeah. We just got through that one. That was a good one.
Then it gets just a little chilly, and then goes right back to hot again.
Yeah, I remember the winter of December 7th.
Yes, it was a horrible weekend that weekend. But the biggest thing is that right now we're currently in our wetter part of the season. A lot of pop-up thunderstorms, things of this nature. Even if it's not in the forecast, you're going to see thunderstorms coming up in the afternoon, usually subsiding by the end of the day or towards dark. But that's one of the biggest things we have to worry about. Straight line winds as well. Get a lot of that going on. That it does not have to be a tornado for winds to actually cause some damage. Knock limbs out of trees, knock trees over, things of this nature can still cause amount of damage. And if you're outdoors walking, things of this nature, you have to be pay careful attention to what's going on around you as you exercise or enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, I've seen, I drive across post and see after a thunderstorm comes through, and we've got tree limbs down on the side of the road and stuff, and then DPW and environmental, they're out there taking care of it right away. We got a great team around here.
Yep. Yeah. And as we approach, the interesting thing is that tornado season, we've just kind of gotten through that, knock on wood, with a lot of luck. Did not have the tornadoes in the area, much like the Sulphur, unfortunately, and Lake Charles had experienced some earlier. That'll kind of taper off, and it'll move to the middle states, if you will. But we'll see tornado season pick back up later in the fall, in October and November, and it goes all the way into January.
That's now. You said the tornadoes, and then you got straight line winds. Do we have downbursts? The down wind bursts or
the microburst?
Oh, the microburst. That's the one.
Yeah, it does happen, but they interestingly enough, more often than not, the microburst happens during the winter.
Oh wow!
And we get that Arctic downburst that we've had happen in the past.
That's crazy. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that.
Yep, that's what causes some of those severe temperature drops, and will kind of catch you off guard and unawares. But those are probably the most severe, in, like I said, in the wintertime. Summertime is going to be, like I said, rainfall, and then later in the July through the October season, the hurricane potential is always there.
Yeah. So, do you guys have any idea on how we're doing on the drought recovery from last year? Last time I heard, we were like 14 inches behind in rainfall. Yeah, I think we got that in one day or something.
Well, the KBDI, which is a key indicator of how well we're doing or how dry the conditions are, is back up above the 800 mark, which is still not. We're still not back to our normal levels, but that coupled with the fact that many trees and grass has been damaged from last year. So we're still not out of the woods yet, but we're doing better.
That's good. That's good because those fires really did did us in last year.
So Saturday starts hurricane season for us. So this year is going to be pretty epic. So it's going to be 23 named storms. They're predicting 23 named storms, 11 hurricanes. 5 of those are going to be Cat 3 or higher hurricanes. So that's a pretty significant season. So the need to be prepared, and Tommy and Dusty are going to talk about how you prepare for those a little bit better. But that's about double of what the 10-year average has been.
Now, when they say there's going to be 23 of them, is that in any one particular area, or is that just for the entire season?
That's for the entire
Pacific,
season.
Gulf Coast, and Atlantic.
That's for the entire season.
That's the entire season. Anywhere in the United States.
That's good because I don't think Louisiana could handle 23 hurricanes in
but
one.
The Gulf gets its gets its fair share of it.
You ain't telling me nothing.
Well, I was going to say probably the best website to go to look for anything is National Weather Service or NOAA, the NOAA. .gov websites, but additionally, I would just recommend that anyone, and I'm not here to say which is better. Is it the Weather Channel? Is it AccuWeather? It's whichever one you're comfortable with and can get is the best for you. Additionally, you can go to your Nixle apps and put your zip code in, and you'll receive weather alerts and alerts from your parish or your local municipality by putting your zip code in and asking for it. So if you're getting them while you're away, or if you're on vacation and you want to go to a new place, you can always put in a zip code for that location and receive the local weather there. That's a major event, as well as like I said, whatever app or whatever social media you want to use is good social media.
Yeah. Now, Nixle, Nixle, what exactly is that?
Nixle just applies the. It's the interface in between the federal system and the state system, and it will provide the backbone to get those wireless emergency alert,
like Tornado Watch,
Watch, Tornado Warning, the Amber Alert system. All that is tied together under the WEAS, or the Wireless Emergency Alert System.
What's great about Nixle is that no matter what zip code you put in there, you're going to get your local parish sheriff's office. You'll get if there's a bull advisory, if there's a road flooded, you'll get that. If there's a road closure, if there's a school power outage, if there's whatever, you'll get for that parish. I would just advise you, I had all 6 parishes put in mine initially, and then my phone would stop blowing up. So now I just use it for Beauregard and Vernon, right? So I get them what affects our area here, and it helps me keep abreast so I can advise the Fort Johnson community, right? But when I go on vacation, if I'm going down to Pensacola or whatever, I'll put that in there so it advises me, If I'm going over to Mustang Island in Texas, I put that one in there, so I can keep track of what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I follow Kenny Heyman. He's a police juror for Vernon, and I know he is my representative. I follow him on Facebook, and they do a great job. The police jury here really does a great job on keeping everyone up to date, and a quick beeline to get some information back and forth to them, and information going out and everything. It's pretty good.
Mark brought up the traveling, and I would say another application you could go to is the 511.org. Or it'll provide you information on road closures, road repair, work, construction, things of this nature. So as well as if you're experiencing heavy range of things of this nature, the 511 page can give you advisories and alerts to roads that may be not accessible.
Yeah, especially during hurricane season. Just because it's good here doesn't mean it's good somewhere else, especially in this region.
Yeah, especially around here. It's raining here. I go home and it's nice and sunny. Yeah. It's like, but if we do get into these other things, how are we going to be notified? I mean, if I'm at work, especially on post, it's if we're outside and it looks like something's coming down, or if I don't get an announcement, how am I going to get notified?
We have the giant voice system. Fort Johnson just had their giant voice system retrofitted, upgraded in December 2023. We have 9 towers on South Fort, 3 on North Fort, so that the entire population of Fort Johnson can be notified, all those personnel outside within 10 minutes. The system wasn't designed to inform anyone inside. However, you may hear the system while you're inside. If that's the case, you hear the system inside, tune into your local radio station, television stations. We also send things out on all users, Facebook page, all type of media that we have available to put the information out. So, when you hear it outside, listen to the message, especially if it's a tornado, you hear it inside or out, just seek shelter.
Yeah, I heard that people say that when a tornado's coming, it sounds like a train headed your way, and a lot of people are waiting to hear that whistle before they go into the shelters, but that's not a good idea.
Well, now, if you wait to hear the whistle, you probably become a part of the whistle.
So if we do have to take cover, if it is a warning and we have to take cover, where should we be going for?
Well, for tornadoes, we talk about sheltering in place. For tornadoes, you want to get to an interior room in the house that's away from windows or hallway, such as a closet or a bathroom, and stay away from windows or anything that could cause flying debris. You want to stay away from that. And we have 3 levels of sheltering. We have shelter in, shelter up, and shelter down. Shelter in place for emergency situations to put your best option. Shelter in place is a temporary protection like a vehicle, some type of structure, or even if you're outside during a tornado, you can't make it inside. If a ditch is available, get in the ditch or get beside a sturdy building, kneel down, put your hands over your head. But the safest thing to do is, again, I go back to John Voice. If you hear it, seek shelter. Seek the first shelter that you can find. And then you got the shelter in place. That's a situation where the air outside may be contaminated. You want to shelter in. But all these messages will come out with the official notification from the Warrior Operations Center here at Fort Johnson.
There is a message, an audible message that comes with the siren on the giant voice system. And sometimes the wind conditions, you won't be able to understand the message, right? Or if you're inside, you may not be able to understand the message because the wind is, distorting that message, right? Or you're inside your house is making that where you can't understand the message. The message is a courtesy, and you may or may not be able to understand it. But really, if you hear the siren, what Mr. Morris is saying is exactly correct. It's just telling you to seek shelter, right? So the message is an extra, but just seek shelter. That's really what it's saying. So, and we've got, and your shop, PAO, created a great video for us, and they posted it on Facebook, and that's what it's telling you. Seek shelter. Don't stand outside and try to listen for the message to figure out what it's saying. If you hear the siren go off, just seek shelter. Exactly. Go inside and seek shelter in one of those places that Tommy talked about, away from windows, an interior room or a hallway, and get away from the danger.
So it's not going to matter if it's a watch or a warning.
Well, there's a difference between the two. A warning means the tornado is happening or is about to happen. A watch is the conditions are favorable that a tornado could happen. And we monitor that within 5 to 10 nautical miles of the installation. So, but by the time it actually happens, you only have time to react to seek shelter. But the difference between the two is a warning is it's happening, and a watch is the conditions are favorable for it to happen.
Yeah, I always liken it to tacos. A taco watch is we have all the ingredients here to make tacos, and a warning is tacos are ready and we're eating them right now.
That is the fact. And the other thing I'd like to point out is the fact is Burnham Parish or Beauregard Parish, Abilene Parish, Rapides, wherever you live, They may be under a watch and they may be under a warning, but until we receive something from our 18th Weather Squadron, who is our partner here, who is looking out for the conditions on the installation, that's when we will issue the siren. Is when we actually see the conditions are here or have witnessed a tornado somewhere on the installation is when we will issue the warning. So we're not.
Yeah, so they're separate from the National Weather Service.
They are, but
or at least their warnings. And stuff.
Their warnings are different from, like I said, from National Weather Service. Vernon Parish is actually the largest parish by geographic area in the state of Louisiana. So a tornado could be 15, 20 miles away from here and still be within the parish.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to be cognizant of that. Yeah. There may be a warning out for parts of Vernon Parish that does not affect Fort Johnson, and we will not issue that giant voice warning.
Yeah, and it's also important that if a watch is actually issued, that's the time to start preparing for a warning.
Yes.
Prepare then. Listen to your local radio station, television station, whatever weather app you have, to be prepared for if a warning actually happens.
Yeah, maybe it's time to think about changing your plans. Maybe it's time, maybe not go to that softball game, or maybe not make that road trip.
Come in from fishing. And
maybe come in, maybe not play golf that day, or whatever.
I can't help but think of Caddyshack with the guy out there or the priest out there doing his best during the storm. Sorry, I digress though. So we have most of the buildings on post or a lot of them, the newer ones are tornado, reinforced. Or would you say for tornadoes, the buildings are good places to?
They're rated pretty good. Yeah, they're rated pretty good.
Yeah, I think the word you were looking for was progressive collapse.
Yeah,
and that's kind of a technical term, but really what it means is most of them are rated for at least 100 miles an hour or less, or 100, as you were 110 miles per hour or less, and we rarely experience, even with the Cat 3 hurricanes that we've experienced here at Fort Johnson, we've really rarely experienced that velocity of wind.
Now, the safe havens that we have in the shelters for like hurricanes and stuff, are they pet friendly? Because I have pets, and I know a bunch of people on post have pets.
Well, we have two different locations. If we do open up safe havens, those are for people that are living in, I don't want to say substandard housing, but if you just don't feel safe, especially for the people that work on the soldiers and families that work on Fort Johnson, if you don't feel safe in your home in the off installation area, we will open up safe havens. Now, the safe haven differs from a shelter in so much that we don't have all the amenities there. We're just going to give you a place to hunker down, if you will, during a storm. And if you have pets, you can place your dog or your cat, no exotics, no large animals, but a dog or a cat with a kennel into our pet safe haven. And you've got to provide the food, and of course the water will be there, but we will have somebody open it up, and you're responsible for taking care of it while it's in the safe haven, and only the people that are registered in the safe havens can bring their pets onto into the pet safe haven.
And that's while you're in the safe haven.
While you're in, it's not to go to a hotel someplace else and
leave your dogs there. Yeah.
We're not pet setters. No.
You can't drop it off at the safe haven and then go to Texas or wherever. It's while you're riding out the storm in the safe haven on the installation. You can put your animal there and then pick it up when you go back home. Yes.
In the parish, Vernon and Beauregard Parish offered the same thing at the fairgrounds in both locations. However, you can't take exotic animals there either, and you have to have your food and water for them also. And if you happen to be off the installation and have to go to a shelter that Vernon or Beauregard Parish has opened, then you cannot have your pets at those locations, period. No, because most of them are churches and schools, and they're not pet friendly. Same thing, you have to have at least 3 days of food and water. I know Vernon Parish, they do take like your horses and cows, but no exotic animals.
No alligators.
No alligators,
Snakes. And
no crocodiles, none of that.
no emus. I have to leave the emus outside. So where's a good place to get some planning ideas for a hurricane?
Well, for hurricanes, you can go to readyarmy.mil, or you can go to the Fort Johnson's webpage and click on the Ready Army tab. All the information is there on how to make a kit, how to prepare, the things you need to do before, after, and during a storm. The whole 9 yards is there at that tab. You also can go to FEMA.gov.
FEMA.gov. That's an easy one.
FEMA.gov and get the same information. Or if all else fails, you can also contact me at 337-531-4875, and I'll give you all the information you need.
4875. And that's ready.army.mil?
Ready.army.mil, correct.
Yes. All right, cool. And the hurricane, it's like there's so many severe weathers that just keep running through my mind. What else do you guys plan for? And I know you guys have to brief the general, and we have a new general coming in soon, and you're going to be briefing him. So what's the main things that you're going to be telling him?
Yeah, well, really, we'll tell him really how we prepare the community, how we've poised the installation. So we always have a plan for. We have different task forces for. We always have. If the ultimate went wrong, right? If everything failed, here's how we would plan. Here's how we would prepare the installation to recover, right? So we go through the P2MR2 model, and how we would recover the installation rapidly to make sure the community's safe. So we have all these different task forces: Task Force Recover, Task Force Searcher, Task Force Casualty, Task Force Cash, Task Force Truck, Task Force Fuel. We have all these different resiliency plans for the community. So we brief them on all those things and how we've got, how we're going to constitute those forces, how we're going to sustain those forces, how we're going to make sure the installation is postured to prepare and continue on our mission. So there really is those two. How we're going to continue to provide for the community, make sure the community's safe, recover the community, and how we're going to continue to do the mission for the Army is really the main priorities for the installation in any one of those events, whether it be a hurricane, a wildfire, a tornado, flooding, which really flooding is not really one of our big concerns here on the installation. It is off the installation. Dustin always talk to us every year. Hydrology on the installation is pretty good. We really don't experience flooding, some localized flooding. But that does affect our mission off the installation. It could impact us, like all of us that live off the installation, getting to and from work, and it could affect our logistics and impact our ability to execute our rotational mission. So far, we've been pretty lucky with that.
It sounds like you got everything all planned out. I mean, you have been doing this for a couple of years or so.
We've been doing it for a minute.
For a minute.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer, but we've experienced just about everything. When we think we've seen it all, then we get something else. General Gardner, I'll give him credit. He said there will be no hurricanes on my watch, and that was true. We didn't have any hurricanes, but he did bring something new to the table. He brought wildfires to us, and now we have a plan for that.
Now we do. And
throughout the hurricane season, I'll be setting up displays at the commissary, the PX, Woodford Hall, and other locations across the installation. I'll also be available for family readiness groups if you want a briefing at your family FRG meetings. And so, just be prepared and think about the things that you need to do in advance before the storm happens.
Talk about the basics that everybody on Fort Johnson needs to have if we have a hurricane and power goes out.
Right. That's very important because you may look at different locations and it'll say have 3 days. Some may say 4 days. Some may say 5 to 7 days. FEMA would recommend 3 days for every member in your household. However, I would recommend up to 7 days if you can, just because of the amount of severe weather we face here.
Yeah.
But the minimum is 3 days for supplies. You need to have food, water. Think about your medicine. Think about your pets. Think about the elderly that may be in your care. Think about how you're going to transport their transport devices like wheelchairs and stuff like that. But you need to have flashlight. You need to have food and water for everyone in your household. Talk to your pharmacist or your doctor to see can you get up to 90-day supply of your medicine extended. You need to have a good communication plan, and you need to have your evacuation routes if you're told to be evacuated. And not only just have that, make sure that your children, the kids, are prepared, and you need to practice your plans at the same time. So the time to practice your plan is not when it's time to use your plan. So those basic items you need there to sustain yourself until you're able to return back. That's why I say up to 7 days. It's been known here around for power to be out up to 9 to 11 days. So you really need more than 3 days.
Yeah.
But the standard is 3 days, the minimum is 3 days. But if you can get more, then go more.
That's crazy. Well, Tom,
I'm going to add one more thing to that, Tommy, if I could, please. Have a supply of cash on hand as well.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate everybody coming in. Tommy, Dusty, Mark, thanks for coming in. I appreciate all the help and all the information that you're giving us. And I'm Jeff England from the Fort Johnson Public Affairs Office. I appreciate everybody that's been watching. And please leave a message, leave a comment, hit subscribe, hit like, and get that notification button. Make sure that you're ready for this year's hurricane season and severe weather season. And we'll be listening and watching at you later.
That was easy.